some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
I think you going online and saying that, and the only reason I'm saying this is that if you ever read any federal indictment,
I did what? I tipped him off.
You tipped him off via
What
online.
did the lady say in the recording I sent you?
Well,
please don't what?
Please don't tell. But this is why I'm coming to this conclusion.
It seems like everyone has an issue with Wack 100 after 50 Cent accused him of snitching on Big U, which reportedly led to his indictment. There are even rumors that Wack 100 might be wired to set up rappers. But before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's be clear, I'm not making any accusations here. I'm just sharing what the streets are talking about. So please don't shoot the messenger. It all started with a phone call. According to Wack himself, he made a specific and crucial phone call not to Big U, but to Big U's wife, warning her about an upcoming federal indictment. Wack seemed to know exactly when the feds were planning to act.
After you got the message, you hit up Big U's wife. You said, "Sis, 911. One sec, let me get Solo." And you gave him a heads up.
What I tell him?
You said, "One sec, let me get Solo. He needs to leave. Bad." In caps, all caps. He needs to leave.
I said so bad, right?
Yeah, so bad.
What the 600 said is 4 rolling 60 selling on it.
All right, so Wack, let me ask you.
Oh, so that's what the 4 bad
what
means.
You talking about? You little brain,
Let me
nigga?
ask you this,
When
Wack.
Go to talking. Now I just sent you a clip. Play the clip. You gonna hear the people saying, "Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody nothing. Don't say nothing." So which one you want? If he wouldn't have said nothing and y'all found out knew, you would say what? Why you didn't say nothing?
No.
Now, hold on. Who outside the system knows that much about a sealed federal operation? More importantly, what kind of person gives a warning like that unless they have inside information? This is where 50 Cent reportedly began connecting the dots. And when you think about it, the rumor that Wack was wired starts to sound less like gossip and more like something that should be taken seriously. But here's the thing, even before 50 got involved, Suge had already tried to raise the alarm. Suge reportedly warned Birdman to be cautious of Wack, suggesting that Wack was on the Fed's payroll.
I told you I'm doing my movie time. I talked to you and I told you I want you involved in it. But I'm not fucking with that trucker dude. That dude lied very aspect.
Suge's warning hits differently when you realize how long he's been in the game. Then, the Big U situation came up. The 43-count indictment hit like a sledgehammer. The charges included RICO, extortion, wire fraud, and a list of serious offenses. The feds also mentioned Big U being linked to a 2021 case involving the death of a young musician, Rue, but that piece didn't appear in the full 75-page indictment. Why? Word is Nevada is handling that part separately. But here's what really caught people's attention. The feds were using Wack's own Clubhouse rants and podcast clips as evidence in the case.
So it looked good and it sounded good. But if you pull the indictment up, which we have it, is 75 pages of what they're actually indicting him on.
Right.
Nevada's gonna
take that. Okay, so there's a RICO count.
That's when academics took notice. He didn't hold back either. In an interview, he directly told Wack that he believed he tipped off Big U.
We'll say some of what you may have done may have helped with the timing, right? I think you.
What's that?
I think you tipping off Big U. I think that definitely.
I did what?
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Wack didn't deny it. He just laughed. That's not how someone responds when their name is being thrown around in a federal investigation.
Plus, you're saying certain. I know you spoke to, or you had some information from the fam. Like, this is like, you should only know this if you're doing the investigation. But I get it. They told the people.
This isn't the first time people have suspected Wack of being a rat. Let's rewind to 2006. Back then, Wack and his brother were pulled over in Texas, where authorities found loaded firearms and magazines, despite both men being convicted felons. This should have been an easy federal case, but somehow the case was dismissed 5 years later in 2011, not because of bad evidence or a flawed search, but because of something called the interest of justice, if you're familiar with legal terms. That phrase typically means one thing: cooperation. This alone had people looking at Wack with suspicion. After that, his career skyrocketed. He started managing big names, dropping exclusive information and acting like he had eyes and ears in every room. Meanwhile, people close to him started facing charges. But the strange moves didn't stop there. Reports say Wack was caught on a federal wiretap. Yes, a recorded call with a guy named Stutterbox, who's allegedly connected to a larger case involving the Main Street Mafia Crips. And what was Wack doing on that call? According to several sources familiar with the documents, he wasn't just talking, he was connecting dots. Some are even suggesting he might have been helping the feds piece the entire case together.
60.
Hey, what's Stutterbox?
Man, put that on Pyro.
But
Put that on
the
Pyro.
Stutterbox just
That's
called
gonna be
my
another
phone.
story we gonna talk about
Hey,
later.
what's Stutterbox got to do with something?
I'm talking about that paperwork. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You saying I'm on paperwork?
Yeah. Bro, am I lying? Put that on
Are
Pyro,
you
you
saying
not.
Wax on paperwork?
Put that on Pyro, you
Put
not.
that on 6-0 Wax
Put on
on
6-0
paperwork.
Crip, you on paperwork. Put that on
On
Pyro,
6-0,
you not.
put that on
He put it on
Put that on
6
Pyro, that
now
on
you gotta
episode
produce
60.
it. Now
Put
you
that on
gotta
Pyro
produce
that
it.
you're not on that case.
Produce it.
Put that on Pyro that you're not on that case.
You know I'm the one got told on,
Put
right?
that on Pyro
On
that you didn't make
Pyro, I ain't on
statements.
none of them cases.
Put that on Pyro, you didn't make statements.
This isn't the first time rumors have circulated about Wack. Remember when he and Birdman were close? They even ran Cash Money West together. But things started to shift when Wack began managing Tekashi 6ix9ine, a man already suspected of cooperating with the feds. Partnering with 6ix9ine was considered career suicide in the streets. In an interview, Wack mentioned that Birdman confronted him about the situation.
The one that then got on me the most, right, is Birdman. Yeah, I'm a dude to keep it 100. Ain't nobody bigger than the politics. That's my brother, and we get on each other. But Birdman, out of everybody, Birdman had got on my ass, like, on me. He told me how dissatisfied he is. He said, I love you, you my brother. I ain't never going to. You know that. We done been in the trenches together. But God damn it, this the way I.
Birdman didn't make a scene or go public, but people noticed a change in the way he moved. He kept his distance, and that spoke volumes. But this is where it TIs back to 50 Cent. Wack manages the game, and as everyone knows, there's a history between 50 and the game. That beef was messy, and instead of resolving it quietly, Wack seemed to reignite it. He went on different platforms, speaking recklessly. He openly called out 50, saying things like 50 wasn't really from the streets anymore and that he was protected by the industry. Wack even suggested that 50 had to check in whenever he was in LA, implying that without approval, 50 wouldn't be safe in the West.
When I came in, I swear it was 50 and like 2 people. He was like 3 or 4 deep. Radio guys, like regular. So when I went over there, I said, yo, check this out. He's like, Wack, what's up? I said, man, game in the alley, 50 deep. It don't make sense for you to restrict him from coming in, and then you gotta come out, and you got 50 out there waiting on you.
Wack wasn't just talking recklessly for no reason. He mentioned a specific incident where he and his crew showed up at the SLS hotel, aiming to confront 50 directly.
Right by the Beverly Center, we thought we did. Somebody called us, told he was up there. I got up there. We came in.
How deep were you?
About 15.
15 people.
Yeah, we wasn't that deep.
However, when they arrived, Wack claimed it looked like a military operation. According to him, 50 had such a heavily armed security team, it felt like they had Navy SEALs with machine guns. That detail alone led to people online mocking him, asking why he would even admit such a thing.
We got up there, we came in, and shit. You had Navy SEALs with it. 2 in all directions. About 6 of them. Walkies in their ear, vested, strapped to their thigh, bullies on them, semis on them, magazine cartridges. I said, yeah. He ain't slipping.
Today's not the day.
Nah, 50 moved different.
When the talk about Big Meech and BMF resurfaced, Wack had more to say. He criticized 50's portrayal of BMF in the media, accusing him of exploiting the story for profit, saying that 50 was squeezing everything he could from it.
I think 50 know he helped build BMF up to the magnitude that it's viewed upon in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's already squeezed it, but what he's gonna get, I think right now he's trying to burn it down.
Yeah.
So he can't continue anything with it. That's what's coming.
But here's where things take a strange turn. While Wack had been all over the place throwing jabs, 50 remained completely silent. No Instagram posts, no memes, no trolling, nothing. And for someone who built his brand on internet drama, that silence was deafening. That's when the whispers turned into real talk. Several sources close to the situation suggested that the silence wasn't just part of a strategy, it might be about survival. Word is 50 believes Wack is too close to some federal heat. He might even be trying to bait 50 into a situation that could escalate legally. Just as the internet started catching on to this theory, the Big U indictment dropped. That's when everything seemed to fall into place, with a massive 43-count federal RICO case naming 18 members of the rolling 60 Seconds. Now, guess who wasn't on that list? Wack. But here's the part that made people start raising their eyebrows. His voice was reportedly all over the supporting documents. This didn't make sense. If Wack was that deeply involved in the conversation, but wasn't listed in the indictment, the questions began to arise. Then, Wack dropped another bombshell. He claimed that Adam 22, the founder of No Jumper, also got caught up in the whole RICO case. Now remember, Wack is a regular on the No Jumper platform, so this was close to home. Wack called into the show and revealed he had just spoken to his attorney. He said he was trying to get Adam down there quickly to prevent him from saying anything unnecessary. According to Wack, they came to pick Adam up that same morning and circled back again later.
What's up, man? I just called my attorney. Try to get him down there so Adam don't be doing no telling, bro.
Man, they saying Adam locked up all on the blogs. What's going on?
They came to got him this morning, bro. They doubled back. They came by and we try and have him out because he's supposed to go live today, right?
Then Wack added something else. He admitted that while he wasn't exactly sure what the feds were after him for, he was confident they were pressuring him about something.
A second, he don't have to, but they own him about something, bro. I don't know what they own him about, but they own him about something. And I don't know if they was trying to get something out of him, but I'm pretty sure come 4 o'clock, he gonna be here. My attorney me. They me that they're gonna definitely have him at 30 at the latest. So he'll be here at 4 o'clock. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a lot to say.
But just as things seemed to be escalating, Adam 22 stepped in and cleared the air. He flat out denied being arrested. He didn't waste any time throwing some shade at Wack, saying that Wack had an overactive imagination and made it clear he wasn't under investigation and wasn't in any trouble, at least for now.
Actually, to be totally real,
What do you mean?
He called me. I told him exactly what the Fed said. I told him, like, don't say anything. And then his way of not saying anything is to call into the news and basically put forth a completely misleading narrative because, you know, he just loves to cause chaos and everything. And from my perspective, okay, let's go viral. Sure. Post whatever. I don't care.
It did help, though. Right?
Y'all seen my face in here
Like,
when that
bump?
nigga Wack was on the phone.
Yeah,
I mean, bro, if I was arrested, I feel like
Like,
you
bro,
guys
that
would
nigga at
probably know.
home, bro. No way.
An agent of beautiful chaos.
Then, Adam shared something that's actually more intriguing. He revealed that the feds had shown up at his place and met with his lawyer. According to Adam, the feds were particularly interested in a cease and desist letter that Big U had sent them about a year ago. This letter demanded that they take down a podcast episode where Loose Cannon allegedly claimed that Big U had prior knowledge of what was going to happen to Nipsey before it actually did.
That was the only contact I've had was the situation that I described last night, where basically the feds came.
Yeah.
All they wanted to do was drop off the subpoena for a cease and desist.
So where did Wack get the "you were locked up" thing at?
I don't know. He's always just trolling, and then they just ran with it. And they made a clip out of it. And it is what it is. It's not. I didn't even have communication with anybody in order to turn over anything. And all I want is like one email. So to me, it's like pretty simple, cut and dry thing. You know, it's like my lawyer did tell me, like, you probably should not antagonize them, which I had no plans on. But
I mean,
that's my one note is do not antagonize the Fed.
Adam also pointed out that there was no mention of this letter in the original indictment or criminal complaint. To him, this raised suspicions and made him wonder what exactly the feds were investigating when it came to Big U. At this point, attention turned back to Wack 100, as he was the one who first tried to involve Adam in all of this. However, Wack himself wasn't listed in the indictment either, yet he knew a lot about the case. This is when people on the internet started calling him Rat 100, and the comments were pretty brutal. One user wrote, "Wack is a terrific informant, man of many talents, snitching being one of them." Another said, "I've never seen a so-called G who knows so much about the feds. This wasn't just joking around, it was years of suspicion boiling over. It's odd that someone without a badge knows so many exact federal details, including who's talking and when." So, what do you think? Are the allegations against Wack true? Let us know in the comments. We're reading every single one. And if you're into real street stories and no fluff, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.